All right. Hello, hello. Good evening, everyone. And we are here for After the Greatness. This is day 2 of Dare to Be Great 2021. That is Dare to Be Great 3. I've got my homie Leah here. What's going on? And we've got Karen as well as Jameson. They both work for Rapid SOS. They are diamond sponsors for this conference. Thank you both very, very much. And you have some guests. We're going to be going through a few things, and then we're going to get into the session. So take it away, Karen.
We do have some guests today. One is undercover right now, so much that he'll be back in just a second.
Right. That was weird.
I'll pull him back up here in a minute when he comes back in.
Sounds good. Thanks, Ricardo. Excited to be here this afternoon and evening and recapping all of the amazing things that happened today. So let's dig into it. Mike, welcome back. Excited to have you yet again. And Dennis is no longer undercover, but I guess maybe he is again. So might have a few technical difficulties here, but we'll get going. Mike, I'm going to turn it over to you just to share about CRG, 911i, all the fun and exciting things y'all are doing.
Thanks, Karen. I really appreciate everybody. I really appreciate the opportunity to kind of tell our story today. If you give me just 30 seconds, I'm going to go and share a quick PowerPoint. Can you see that, Karen?
That's good.
Great. Thank you, Jameson. Well, everybody, as this plays, I'm just going to tell our story, and then I'm going to get very quickly into what it is that I'm showing you. So my name is Mike Rogers. I'm the CEO of a company called Critical Response Group. We are comprised of one of three things. We are individuals coming out of the special operations community who had very unique experiences overseas, mostly conducting night raids. We were able to touch a lot of emerging technology over the last 15 years on the battlefield. And then what we did is we wanted to take some of those techniques and lessons learned and transition them home. The second portion of our team are public safety professionals out of all the major disciplines that helped us take everything that we were doing overseas and actually fit it to the space to make a difference domestically. And the last portion of our team are technical experts that helped us, grow a tech company and do that as efficiently as possible. So we kind of come at the problem set a little bit differently, very operationally minded, and then grew into the technical aspect. But that's something we take a great deal of pride in. One of the two things that we do for a living is the first one you're looking at is a thing called CRGs, or collaborative response graphic. We realized that on the home front there was a lack of a common operating picture, both internal and external to structures. So we recalled some of our military experiences, and then realized there was a piece of that fit domestically. And then what we wanted to do was really understand the landscape and solve the problem that we identified. And the primary issue was that all the building schematics across the country, from schools to churches to mosques to malls to movie theaters, sporting venues, are all inaccurate and ultimately not usually on file with the public safety professionals. So what we do is we take whatever type of schematic is on file as really a starting point to see how the building is laid out. But we take what is on file, we cut it out, we rotate it so it's true north on an up-to-date piece of aerial imagery, so it's standard in its orientation. We then walk every single structure with engineering software. And the reason that we do that is we've realized that all the schematics on file today are simply inaccurate. So if you're not walking them, you're not going to have an accurate schematic. So we walk through there, and we've done this about 5,000 times, and really less than 1% of the buildings we've touched are accurate. So we fix the schematic. Then we also gather the site-specific labels associated with the facility. So as you're looking at this, if it's marked Classroom 1 or Door 5 or Door A53, that is matching the actual vernacular from the location. We also mark all the critical features associated with this location. So fire access control panel, gas shutoff, everything important from a response perspective. And then lastly, we apply this gridded template, which is how we did it in the military, establishing a very simple common operating picture. So no matter who you are, a public safety telecommunicator, a police officer, a firefighter, a medical technician, a school administrator, we now have this common language to talk off of. And ultimately, that's what we do from a mapping perspective. The second thing that we do, and I'm going to turn it over real quick, is a emergency video streaming tool. We also pulled this from our partner over in the UK called Capita. They built a product called 911i, and what our intent is to create a network of emergency video streamings, leveraging really the cell phones out in the field to create information coming into those public safety answering points. But with that, I'm just going to flip over and I'm going to turn it over to Dennis Sims. Dennis?
I am back, Karen. Thank you. Just a quick Wi-Fi relocation. So in Mike's world, where he comes from in the military, they certainly can leverage an ISO or platform, a Predator drone, some other type of aerial overview, right? But in my world, in the public safety world, coming from initially the outdated term of dispatch into sworn side and into a SWAT team environment, we don't have drones for the most part, or as many that could be leveraged out there with cell phones. So the cell phone is the primary tool that we see in abundance. Some of you may have more than one. So then to make use of those cell phones, we have 911i, the collaboration that we have with Capita and now with RapidSOS, so that communication centers can send out links, which you see looping through this graphic, send out a link, not need to download an application, and through a two-step consensual process, establish a connection with a video feed, photo feed, text messaging, additional GPS support, to be able to relay that information back to the decision makers so that proper resource allocation can be put in place. Again, it doesn't require an app. Actually, multiple streams can be sent back to a single desktop. It's all in Microsoft Azure Government, so it's in a secure platform with instances set up for each account. And then information comes right back to the desktop again, really for proper resource allocation. That could be more resources, additional, but it actually could be fewer. If you have something simple that you don't need to send a resource out to handle, then that resource can be allocated elsewhere. And there's significant cost savings there. That could be fuel, that could be staffing, that could be anything that's really going to impact the budget and provides better service to the community, ultimately making it safer for the community as well as for the first responders that are out there. So that's that simple graphic again that you see looping through. Once the connection is disconnected from the phone, there is no further, let's say, follow-up on that device. Sometimes there is some suspicion that government is tapping into the phone. Well, it's a one-time use link. So once that link is terminated either by the PST or by the citizen, that link can no longer be revisited. And again, everything is hosted up into a cloud solution. So it's hosted by the Azure instance that we have set up for the agency, and it can be downloaded and then stored into your local storage solution. Again, depending on, as we talked about earlier, different states have different rules. Sometimes it's 1 year, 2 years, sometimes even up to 5 years. So you can hold on to that data for as long as necessary. And we find that it's really important not only for the situational awareness piece, but also training. Also for investigation, certainly in the fire service, if you have eyes on the ground that get there before your staffing does, you can have a better picture of what was taking place early on in the event. So we're really happy to be working with not only Capita, but certainly RapidSOS now to bring this technology into really like a one-stop shop type operation going forward.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much to the two of you. If folks missed our session earlier today, it is available for playback. And Ricardo, if people register now, they can still access these sessions, correct?
Yes, registration is unlimited. It is open forever, and the playback is unlimited as well.
Excellent. So if you want to learn more, reach out to us. I think most folks know how to reach RapidSOS. We will make sure that we get you in contact with Mike and Dennis, Mike or Dennis, whatever you are looking to do at your center. Thank you guys so much for your time. We really appreciate it. And of course, your service as well. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks, Karen. Thank you, everyone.
All right. So our next two guests come from another one of the RapidSOS partner communities. And these folks are from Geocom. So we're excited to welcome Dan and Carrie. Dan, Carrie, welcome. We will let you guys take it away also and talk about what you're doing with RapidSOS.
Thanks, Karen.
Thank you. Karen Jameson and the Dare to Be Great conference appreciate this opportunity. We're going to talk about indoor maps and Geocom's indoor map offering in partnership with RapidSOS. So while I'm talking just about some of the value that RapidSOS brings and how it complements Geocom's technology, Carrie's going to bring up a PowerPoint so you can kind of visualize some of this. We know that finding 911 callers in buildings is a problem, and we did have a session where we shared some statistics on why that is and why this solution is going to benefit that. But obviously this partnership is very complementary in the fact that Geocom is a leader in public safety GIS. Our focus is to save lives and property. Rapid SOS being, a true innovator within public safety, providing this accurate, device-based hybrid location, marrying those two technologies and creating this partnership really allows both companies to thrive and, again, focus on that one activity that we're trying to do is save lives. So indoor maps, as a telecommunicator, when you get that 911 call, there's not a lot of context. You can see here, but we know we can do more. Again, we have that really accurate location information now being provided by Rapid SOS and has been for some time, but we want to provide the context for that. Sometimes a caller can't necessarily say where they are. So we're looking at a school here. I'm remembering back to my, juniors or senior days in high school, and I was in Miss Johnson's room, right? That's how I knew it. I didn't know if it was room 203 or if it's, the north-south hallway, wherever it was. Those weren't things that concerned me. But I did know what classroom I was in. I did know maybe if I was in the English hallway. So those are types of details that we can display on this indoor map and then provision directly into the PSAP. So again, they have that context that provides value with that up-to-date location information. And that's where we really value the partnership with Rapid SOS. Carrie, I know you wanted to comment on some statements that Jameson made earlier in the presentation or in the conference about sensors and IoT and workflows.
Yeah, so I was sitting in on Karen and Jameson's session this morning, and Jameson, you brought up a couple of really good points about IoT devices really giving operationable information being sent into the PSAPs now, and how we really don't want to overwhelm a telecommunicator with all of that information, but we need that information for better informed responses. All of that information that's coming in or going to be coming in the very near future is really great information to have, alarms, all of that stuff. But it's really just like the dot on the map on the left-hand side of the screen here. It's just a dot on the map unless we have actionable GIS data. And that's really what Indoor Maps is providing. It's providing the content that can go along with the context of all of those maps, all of those additional bits of information that are being, sent into a 911 center as we go forward. And just like Dan was saying, it's critical that we have not just the room numbers, but also, especially in a school's environment, that contextual information. I'm in the senior hallway. Where I went to university, there was a building that had the very official title of the classroom building. That was it. There wasn't a lot of context of where I was in that building. But it's important to have really good indoor maps. And our partnership with Rapid SOS enables telecommunicators to have immediate access to indoor maps if they have been already added into our content library. But that's not the only thing that's available today in the environment. So on the screen, we've got the Rapid SOS portal. We see the location of the 911 call that's come in. The uncertainty radius, 2.5 meters, plus or minus 10 feet. That's pretty awesome compared to where we were even 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Additionally, there's additional curated content that we have that is being delivered out today as well. So we've worked through our partnership with Esri to provide additional base map information. So this happens to be a screenshot of a different base map that at least has building footprints on it. Still not indoor maps, but building footprints at least is a place to start. So you can tell if a call is coming from inside a building or inside or in a field. And then, with the indoor maps through the Rapid SOS portal, this is really what you are seeing. Now, this happens to be a shopping mall. We can see exactly where the call is coming from with, good confidence we can tell that it's coming from the store that's beside Hot Topics. If I zoomed in, you'd be able to see that it's a store called Ragstock. And as we zoom in, additional public safety attributes, as we call them, are going to show up on the map. Location of AEDs, location of fire extinguishers, fire alarms, risers, if it's a secure building where there are, key card pads, all of that type of information, which just adds to the understanding of the indoor space. And, just earlier today, I was talking with somebody and they were talking about the fact that an indoor map can really help with a situation that could be going awry. So, if you know of somebody that's, say, having a heart attack, they're in a building, you don't see an AED on the floor that they are on, but if you toggle to a floor above or floor below, you may see that there's an AED there. You can tell somebody where to go to get that AED and potentially save a life. That's really what this additional data is meant for. It is meant to provide the contextual information that telecommunicators and first responders need so that they can quickly and efficiently get to the scene and save lives ultimately.
That's it.
Carrie, you brought up a really great point. Being able to actually visualize where that alarm is at or that sensor is at inside of a building is fantastic, because now we go from the proverbial zone 4 to Mrs. Robinson's room, whoever it may be. So that's fantastic information.
Yeah, and we're really excited about the partnership and being able to get this information into the 4,800 plus ECCs that are Rapid SOS enabled. That just is going to make hopefully a telecommunicators world a little bit better.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Any final thoughts, Dan and Carrie?
Well, Carrie, we've been talking about this Z-Access announcement by the FCC. What's on the roadmap for indoor maps as it relates to Z-Access information? Are we marrying that information? What can we share today?
So today we're not ingesting the Z-Access, but because honestly, that FCC announcement just came out.
It's been 5-6 days. We should be on this, right? We gotta respond.
You got to give me at least, at least 10 days. But really, what our plan is, like operationally today, when you start receiving that Z-Access data, you can still utilize the 2D indoor maps that are available. The screenshot that I've got up here happens to be a single floor mall, but there is a floor picker available. So if you know that somebody's calling, approximately from the second or third floor, you can toggle on or off the different floors today. Long term, the plan will be to ingest that height above ellipsoid information that's coming into the system, and then anticipate what floor the call would be initiated from, and then just display that one. So that's definitely roadmap stuff that we hope to have out in the not too distant future.
Yeah, that's a game changer. Thanks for sharing, Carrie.
Awesome. Well, thank you both so much for your time. We're super excited to be working with y'all at Geocom as well and bring lots of great tools inside of Rapid SOS Portal and our solutions, because integrations are a must, as is collaboration. So thank you so much for being amazing partners as well.
Appreciate it. And appreciate the time to be here as well. And Ricardo, it has been a fantastic event so far. Really looking forward to what's going to come down the pipe tomorrow.
All right, thank you very much. I appreciate that more than you know, and it's been excellent, and also to you as Geocom for being a sponsor as well. So thank you.
Absolutely, thank you.
All right, we are going to move into a recap of some of the sessions that we had here today, and we started out with actually the both of you. right?
Fortunately, the pre-meeting before the actual thing went live was not recorded. So
That's
was
right.
but
Or,
I think
or was it?
Leah,
boy.
I know you.
That's right. Yeah. So, did you record anything? I hope so.
There might be a little snippets here and there.
Were there songs? Was there
Sweet.
singing?
there was
Yeah,
no
so-
dancing. That's good.
No dancing.
Maybe. So that'll be good, because for those who are watching right now, what's going to happen tomorrow, because we were going to have an After the Greatness tomorrow as well for the last day of Dare to Be Great 3. However, what we're going to do is that because it falls on a Thursday, we are going to combine After the Greatness with open mic. And Leah and I are going to be on there. We're not only going to recap, but we're going to show some bloopers. We're going to share some funny ass 911 stories, and it is going to be so much fun. So it's going to be excellent. But I want to go over as we start here in this recap show for After the Greatness, your session that you did. I want to know kind of the what was the thought process behind this? This is from the cradle to the save for either one of you.
Oh, I'm going to pass it to Jameson because I just have to tell you really quickly, he's amazing when he comes up with these concepts to speak about. And this is a Jameson brainchild. And I think that it just tells the story so eloquently. So Jameson.
That's very, very, very kind, Karen. We had kind of ideated on this back in October about, what are all these different sensors and everything doing for us, and the data, and what does it mean to telecommunicators, and really how do we ensure that we're empowering telecommunicators to save more lives? And that's absolutely mission number one. And so we talked about, we're constantly surrounded by devices from the cradle to the grave, and we got to talking about that. I was like, honestly, from the standpoint of 911 public safety, the devices are around us from the cradle to the save. And you think about all the things that are connected together and all the things that we have at our disposal today and what's coming down the pike in the next 6, 8, 12 months. Man, it's a brave new world, but it only works if we empower telecommunicators. And, when we think about all these devices from the moment that we enter the cradle to the moment that we need them, 3 things are happening. 1, devices are being added to our existence. They're there to protect us and to protect our family and to protect our property, right? Protection of property, saving lives. 2, somewhere in that jurisdiction, a 911 telecommunicator is standing by to answer that call as soon as it happens. They're waiting for that incident to ring into the comm center. But the 3rd leg of that stool is that Rapid SOS is integrating consistently and constantly with new data providers to ensure that at time of incident, we can push that information to the telecommunicator and we can get them out quicker. I can tell you, well, I don't have to tell you, this whole conference is full of stories, and it's full of telecommunicators who could just, if they could go back and change one thing in the past, I would say most of them would probably say, if I had 2 more minutes from the time this house fire started to roll a truck, if I had 2 more minutes to get, a little bit of head knowledge that this incident actually occurred on this car accident. I shared a couple of days ago the reason I left the comm center. The final straw that broke my back was an incident with a young child that we lost. And it was, the accident occurred, and it wasn't until somebody passed by and saw it and called 911. And that's time of call. If we had known at time of incident, we could have been there on scene faster with paramedics to increase her intracranial pressure, to get her loaded in the chopper and actually make it to Le Bonheur. And that's huge for us.
Man, dude, I could listen to you talk all day. Preach.
You don't have to preach, man. It's a room full of angels. You've brought together a room full of angels right here, man. It's just, we're surrounded by this great cloud of witnesses here at Dare to Be Great. We have been 3 times now, and apparently hashtag number 4, Ricardo. But we're here because we are passionate and because we are industry leaders, right? And we are here pushing the envelope, saying, you know what, some of this stuff I don't know about, right? Additional data, I don't understand what that is, but I know that data is going to help me save more lives. So how am I going to incorporate that into my workflow? And that's where we start slamming those home runs, right? We say, all right, We get into our processes, we get it into our training, we get into our policies, and when the crap hits the fan, the proverbial fecal matter in the fan, we have everything lined up. And for the call that we need to do, it's there, we're using it, and we don't have to talk about these calls. We don't have to be we don't have to bring them back, right? We don't have to think about well, to be honest with you, Ricardo, you don't have to dream about them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You don't.
Right.
Yeah.
What did you think, Leah?
About which part? Because there's so much right there.
I know.
I couldn't say it any better.
And I also had to chuckle, sorry, but Gary, the comment about the halo over his head.
God.
Sorry, Jameson, that's why.
Some horns.
Yeah.
And I started laughing. I'm sorry. I saw that too. I got distracted. I love their session. It just, the word passion keeps coming up today.
Yeah.
And I think that was truly the theme for the day. And with all the speakers, but especially you guys, you guys have passion in what you do, and that really comes out. And it's nice to see, especially for us that are using all these different technologies, the passion behind wanting telecommunicators, dispatchers, call takers to succeed.
Yeah.
And I think that's really, it was a great day.
Go ahead, Karen. I cut you off there as you were
No,
about
you
to say
didn't
something.
at all. I have to say, as I watched some of the other sessions too, there was so much vulnerability today and yesterday in the sessions, and I thought that was really amazing and powerful. Folks that were sharing their struggles, and they were being so real, and all of the actions, the advice was something that anyone can do.
Yeah.
And it made it sound so easy. And so I was thinking, and I was taking notes about all this, and this has nothing to do with our session. It really has to do with the day itself.
Mhm.
But real life happens. It happens every day, and I think for so long we've lived it on our own, and we've been afraid of what other people might say or think, and not even realizing sometimes that we have to change,
Mhm.
right? Or not admitting that. And so I just kept hearing people sharing and sharing today, and I just thought it was awesome. And we are all human. And as much as we try to be superhuman, we're not. We have real feelings, and other people feel the same. And it was really nice to see that some of the struggles that I have experienced in my career and even now are the same things that other people feel. And there was others to lift them up in the comments and to just be their cheerleaders and their support system in the back. So I thought that was awesome. And then I just took one other little screenshot here. Is there are two ways to share knowledge. One, you can push information out. But two, you can pull them in with the story. And I was pulled in with stories today completely.
Hell yeah.
Now, Ricardo,
sure.
we talked about this, I think you and I back at Nina in Nashville, maybe, or San Antonio. I don't remember where we were at. We were just having a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I said, brother, how do we take our telecommunicators from being victims of these calls to being, survivor, I guess is the right word, but move beyond even survivor to warrior? And I just got to say, man, Dare to Be Great has been one of those pivotal moments to where we have seen warriors coming to the platform to bring victims to survivors to warrior status. And that's the future of 911. That's the future of how we glean new blood, for lack of a better term, into this industry that's never been really thankful, never been at the forefront of any real, high praise from folks. But to teach that and to understand that and to tell that story and to pull people, because I can tell you that there are always going to be people who want to do the right thing, who want to help out their community, who want to be of service, who want to lead through service. And 911's a great place to do that. And through Dare to Be Great, brother, y'all have been showcasing that front and center now on every single session. So I just kudos to you and the entire team. That's just fantastic.
It's been really good, man. Thank you so much for saying that. And it all starts with that story, right? Everyone has been just willing to open up and just really share. And a lot of these sessions that we're going to go over here, it was just that, everyone just being like Karen said, being real, being authentic, and sharing all of this. This was the first step. And I remember that conversation as well, and it was also, you know, teaching and kind of, you know, building upon the experiences that we had, you know, kind of breaking some of the cycles of some of the BS that we went through, learning from it, but also showing those who are coming up as well, you know, there's a different way. And I've said it for the first couple of Dare to Be Greats, and I will continue to say it for this one. It's the era of the headset, man. This is how we've been doing it, and it has been really, really good. So I'm just so glad that we've been able to do this, and it's been an excellent experience. And speaking of experience, I want to share a couple things here really quick, because this was, and I have to say thank you very much to Tina for capturing this, because this is how much fun all of this has been. Everybody who's watching right now, you know, Leah and I have been doing this. She's been in the background, you know, taking, you know, just watching and listening to make sure everything is working. So I can't thank you enough, Leah, as well, but also catching some awesome moments while we've been in the green room, whether it's myself being, you know, a dumbass, getting ready and getting pumped up, myself listening to music, or us talking and just having fun right before we go on, or even when we're live. This is one of the pictures here, and I'm trying to remember what it was that we had said. I think it was, I had given the intro, and Jameson was like, that was a very professional and thought-provoking intro or something like that, and it was funny, because, so here's the picture. I'm trying to figure out which one was first, but I'm going to go ahead and share this right here, and bam. That is so hilarious, man. Like,
Leah's gonna die.
that's right. No, this is from Tina. Tina had this, and
by association.
So let me remove that one, because there was that one, but then there was this one over here as well. So let me share this other one, because this was, oh, here it is, and then that one. That's so funny, man. And oh, my mom is she's up in here. See, my mom is laughing at us.
Hi, Gloria.
Hey.
Hi with my voice and not chatting it like I usually have to.
This is so funny. She's laughing too. But yeah, so that was the continuation of that. So she had both of those pictures. I thought that was hilarious. And then when we were in the green room, we ended up taking another one, and I think I have that one up here. So hold on a minute. Let me pull that one up. This is, bam, there it is.
There we go. Yes.
I just needed to feel included there.
Oh, that is so funny, man. This is so funny.
I'm just trying to wipe the gray out of my beard. What I'm doing, I don't know what y'all are doing.
We were wondering what you were doing.
That's it. I'm trying to like get it out.
That is so funny.
Oh
man.
my gosh,
that was a lot of fun. That's just one of the things, again, that has been so much fun doing all of this, is just stuff like that, you know, just having fun and just spending that little bit of time right before you go on, because, you know, a lot of times people come in as speakers and they're nervous, and it happens to me every single time. It doesn't matter if I have talked about, you know, whatever it is so many times, I always get hella nervous right before, but as soon as I start talking, I'm fine. You can ask Leah. We've had chat sessions where I'm like, dude, I'm like sweating, like I smell like beef over here because I'm sweating so bad. Like
It was pork today. You said pork.
Yeah. Today it was pork.
Nice.
He'll do this thing where he rambles a little bit, and then he'll go. I have a couple pictures of that.
Yes. So tune in tomorrow for that After the Greatness, because all of those bloopers are going to be going out there. Let's see. I was singing 2 different Salt and Pepper songs.
Mm-hmm.
So
Backstreet Boys.
Yeah, some Backstreet Boys.
You howled
Nice.
in your microphone. I have that one too.
Yes. So I didn't realize that, because usually Leah will say hi or something in our chat so that I know that she's there. And I think I said something like, I don't know if you're here or not, but I don't know. I don't even know what I said in there, but I went, woo. All right. Here we go. And then I get a message on my phone, and it's a video of it. I was like, crap. So
It's
I'll
great
make sure.
to have friends, right?
Yes, yeah. I'll make sure to put that one in there as well. And Dawn, yes, beef.
I love seeing the people over here in the comments. This is great.
It's so funny, man.
Ah,
So the first official session of the day, we had all for the conference, that is, we had all of the sponsor speakers going up, and there were a lot of great sessions in there. Karen, you had another one as well that you had, and that one was awesome. And then in the afternoon, we ended up starting off the conference sessions, and we kicked it off with keynote speaker Sarah Weston. She was the founder, or who is the founder of the Now Wonder Women Inc. And that was an excellent one. And for those who did not get to watch it live, Sarah right off the bat let everybody know she wasn't feeling that well, but she rocked it out, man.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
you would never know unless she had mentioned it, that there was an issue going on. And if you check out, I think her Instagram story, she had posted a picture of after the keynote, and there were like tissues, I think, in a water bottle or something, which was awesome to see.
It's so awesome to see the real behind the scenes, right? I do have to
Right.
say, because I took a couple of notes on her session, like
Mhm.
it was really powerful to hear her talk about what happens to a person when somebody just reaches out.
Mhm.
Right? Because we all feel that fear of like, oh, somebody invited me to lunch or to go have coffee, and like, I really don't want to go. But then you go, and how it just opens you up, and other people help you find your purpose. And I just think that is amazing. And I also agreed with a quote that she said, like, sometimes passion just isn't enough.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's not. And sometimes you need somebody just in your corner to help you through whatever that funk is or whatever that little valley is, just to pull you out of it.
Yeah,
That's really solid too, Karen, because passion is an emotion that can wane over time if you don't take care of it and don't feed it. But commitment is a choice. And you look, when you marry passion and commitment together in the comm center, man, there's nothing you can't do. It's just amazing.
for sure. What'd you think, Leah?
It was the whole passion, that discussion and that theme throughout the course of the day, but really having somebody in your corner and following through with it, protecting what makes you passionate, seeing it through, just that spoke to me, because you have those feelings, you feel it deep down in your soul, and you just have to do something, or you have to make it come to fruition. And maybe it doesn't come exactly how you thought it was going to, but with the best of intentions and positive attitude and just seeing that through, you're really unstoppable.
Yeah, the amount of support and everything in the session alone, especially after she mentioned what she was going through and feeling at that time, it was interesting, because the whole session, everything that she was talking about, she was living that in that moment. Because she wasn't feeling that great, but she was rocking it out, and it was amazing. And just seeing everything in the comments, just go, like, you got this, you can do this. I love the energy and the message, and a lot of people saying, I needed this today. That's one of the things that I've seen throughout since the 7th, since this started out, pre-con day, yesterday, and then today. A lot of people saying, I needed this today. Man.
Yeah, I think a lot of the reason too is because we've been so isolated and apart from each other, and we are not meant to do life alone in isolation. We are meant to do life as a community and together. And Ricardo, like, this brings us together. You are building this 911 community, and it is really, really amazing. It's also, I love when she said too, like, we don't see our value. And just like you said, Ricardo, that everybody said I needed that today. Well, I needed that this week.
Mm-hmm.
I needed that this month, where you don't see your value. And then just everybody else sharing, keep going, support each other, encourage each other, be there for each other to share what that value is, because none of us are alone. We all go through those times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was amazing. Thank you again, Sarah, for doing that session. It was awesome. And like I said, a lot of people were saying it's what I needed. And also, speaking of what I needed, the next session after that was Brian McMurdo, and he did a session called Overcoming Obstacles, Building a Better You. And man, I've seen this session. This is the third time that I've seen the session, and damn it, every single time that dude makes me cry. Because
Yeah.
just listening to his story, I mean, it's a powerful story, and getting a little emotional right now because it's at the end when he's talking about his kids, and that he got to actually ride in that roller coaster. Like my kids are everything. I love my kids, and I do, even if I am exhausted as F, I go and we play, or we watch a movie, or we do something. So to hear him talk about that, and then see that picture at the end when he's like, you know, he's on the roller coaster, and he's doing it with them. You know, it's almost like a mirror of his story, as you know, he was on this roller coaster this whole time, and now he's on it and he's taking hold of it, and it was just amazing. Leah, let's start with you on this session here.
Yeah, that one, this is the second, I believe, time that I've seen this one too, and something different always, it has jumped out at me each time. But you don't think about how this profession affects you, and those short-term decisions that you make, whether it's bad food or alcohol or whatever the case may be, how those affect you in the long term. And you really do have to make a conscious effort to change and be, to come out of it, really, because you can get buried underneath it. And so just that story of coming out of that and making yourself a better version, and learning from all those different decisions, we're all affected by that in some way, and being conscious of it again is really important. But yeah, it's always a good lesson, and everybody again so supportive, because I think maybe sometimes people don't really want to admit that happens to them, or that they got to that point, but seeing it and seeing that you can come out of it is inspiring.
Yeah, definitely. And that's why, also I always want him to drop his PowerPoint so that he can see everything in the comments.
Yeah.
I think maybe the first time he did it in Illinois, he was able to see it on one side and go back and forth. But the last time, and then this most recent one, it was covering his whole screen. So I wanted to make sure, that he would see that, and because there's a lot of love, and good vibes and everything that are in the comments. And again, people saying, this is so powerful, this is what I needed. Karen, what about you?
Oh my gosh, vulnerability, overcoming obstacles. The story was it was really impactful. A lot of things spoke to me, especially when he was talking about his family, and not to take any day for granted. You have your family, you have your parents, you have loved ones. Have no regrets. Say everything that you need to say today, because tomorrow is not promised to any of us. And, the video also that he played at the end, I've not seen that before. And drawing how others see you versus how you see yourself. Oh, that was tough. Right?
Yeah, that one, when he did this in Illinois, the first time I saw it, he was trying to play the video and it wasn't playing right. So I told him I would play it for him. And that was the first time that I had seen it too, and I was just sitting there with just like goosebumps. I thought, wow, like this is very interesting, very powerful. It really, speaks volumes. That video alone, and every time I see it, I'm like, man, that is a deep message right there. What about you, Jameson?
So I would say my key takeaway is definitely a personal connection. I hate heights. I don't think it's anybody's shocker there. Back last fall, my family and I during COVID went camping in Pigeon Forge, and my family got me onto a Ferris wheel. And I'll tell you, and my wife is in here, she'll validate. This boy right here cried because I did not want to do it, because it was one of those where you go up a long way and they stop for a while, and they stop for a while, and there's a video of me clinging to the seat, but there's also in that same video me clinging to the seat, being, like Karen keeps saying, vulnerable. It's my family supporting me, and I just remember my son telling me how proud he was right after that moment, and some good ribbing too, but and I look back on all the times in my life and my career that I have been scared to make the right decision for for my family or for the community or whatever, or to face my fears or to face my inner demons that are swelling up inside, how much prouder would he have been if I had done that earlier? And that one stuck to me.
Man,
It really did.
You talk about that, and making decisions and everything, and sometimes those difficult ones, those hard truths. And this is a good segue into the next session that came up. This was with Ann Camaro. She's the assistant director out at Cambridge Emergency Communications, and her training supervisor out there, Liz, was on there as well. And the session was how to ignite your fire, and why do we go from best dispatcher to most disgruntled, and what can we do about it? There was a lot of pieces out of this session, and it was hard to pick some just ones to really focus on. But for me, it was more towards the end where she was talking about these hard truths. And one of them that I ended up taking a little clip from was it says, all change, whether positive or negative, will create stress. But on top of that, this main one was know when it's time to move on. And that one really stuck with me. Karen, I want to start with you on this session. What was your takeaway?
That I was really jacked up when I was in dispatch, and I didn't realize it. And I wish that this would have been available back then, because holy moly, I was like, oh, shoot. Social impact, physical impact, withdrawal, avoidance, isolation. Yep, got all of those. Check. And then it doesn't necessarily end, though, when you leave the 911 center, because there are things that are so stinking real that still impact your life. And it's those voices in your head that tell you the daily lies, right? And that cause you to avoid situations or decisions, that cause you to isolate yourself because you don't want to deal with whatever it may be, that cause you to disconnect. Holy moly. I remember times where I was the one that was invited to a lot of parties and events and social gatherings. And then all of a sudden I wasn't invited anymore. And I thought, well, it's just because I'm married and I have kids now and I'm not that much fun. I'm like, no, it's because I'm not that much fun anymore. I have changed. And so, yes, know when it's time to move on. And then also she said something about like, know when it's time to just give yourself a kick in the butt and get through it, get over it and move on. And sometimes we need that reality check for ourselves to say, you know what, I've whined enough. Let's go. I'm not going to play that game anymore. So yeah, another one that was like,
what about you, Jameson?
That one sucked. It sucked for me, man. It was like, ow. Because for me, it wasn't like being the worst dispatcher. It was just losing my compassion. And then with the withdrawal piece of that. And I was sitting here looking at the people over here on the right-hand side of the screen who are commenting. Getting that back has been a struggle. I've always been a very compassionate person and very passionate about the position and the function of 911. But how do I actually make that personal with people? Like, I could be compassionate to a broad group of people, right? Put me in front of 30,000, I'm fine. Put me in front of 3, there'll be 3 people there because I'll leave because I don't know how to handle that. And here recently, I've been trying to work on that. And there's a gentleman here in the comments, Joe Serio. I've always said that you become family with me when you put your feet under my table. And Joe had an opportunity. We had him over at the house and cooked and just had a good time together. And I had to learn how to reconnect with people after leaving the comm center, like reconnect with humanity and just be present in the moment and not think about, well, I took a call from this person's family, blah, 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 blah. And, and I just in my own little vertical here, and I don't connect with humanity anymore. And that's taken some time. And so that session was really a throwback to, man, knowing when to leave. I know exactly where I was standing. I know the date. I can give you GPS coordinates when I stepped out of the back of an ambulance and said, I'm done. And I got in my truck and I drove home. And I told my wife, Lisa, I'm done. She goes, okay, let's figure out what's next. And a story I don't share very often, brother, but man, when you've lost connection with just humanity, then humanity comes around and clobbers you in the back of the head. Man, you got to know. And so I was very thankful for that. Again, 2 sessions back to back that really brought up some deep-seated emotion that I had been suppressing. So good job. I took my emotions box off the shelf. It was leaking everywhere. I pulled the top off. I dumped some out. I put the top back on, put it back on the shelf. So Thanks, Ricardo.
Hey, you're welcome. Because it's all about sharing, right? and we're getting that out and everything. So
Yes,
it's definitely a good thing. What about you, Leah?
Yeah, from someone who has been that disgruntled person and having to either have somebody tell me that it's not worth it or given that kick in the rear to get out of it, it's tough. And now, I mean, not saying it doesn't ever happen, but also now having a staff where maybe I have people that are disgruntled and trying to get them to realize that it doesn't have to be like that. You definitely take a look at your methods and how you speak to people and how you view things, and you do have compassion fatigue. And I just recognizing it and know when to move on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was an excellent session, and brought up a lot of things for me as well. That's why when we got to the end there and I came back on, I gave out a little bit of information as well, because one of the things that stuck out that Ann and Liz were talking about is that when we say that we leave it at work, we all know it's kind of bullshit. We don't always leave it, because you can say it all you want, but just in your silence or anything like that, when you're at home, it's there.
That's my daughter when she, mom's always mad.
Yeah. So yeah, right.
Mad. Oh God, I am mad.
They're the worst truth bombs ever. Like walking around singing to you. I don't know why you got to be angry all the time.
Or why you gotta be so rude.
Yeah, why you gotta be so rude?
My daughter sang that to me one time when she was like 3 years old, and I'm all, oh crap. And so yes, the session was another one of those, oh my poor kids. I'm sorry.
Yeah. We end up realizing it somehow. It comes out, and you're like, oh man. Just like Ann said, maybe I'm not hiding it, or maybe I'm not doing as good as I thought I was, and I was definitely there. And what it took for me was to start talking, to start sharing different things, stories, whichever, no matter how it was that I was doing it. And at that time, it was writing, writing things down or blogging about it. And at that point, I didn't care anymore. I wasn't putting anything out there that I would get in trouble for. It was just my own feelings on some of the calls that I had taken, and it started helping. So for me, when I had hit all of those points, it was trying to find some sort of outlet, and it was a creative outlet that I was able to do in school. So that was it was able to help me. But before that, I was the one bearing. So it sucked, man. Yeah, I thought I was doing amazing as well, but it turned out I was being jerky, and just found out the hard way. But it was
beef
good.
Jerky, right? Beef jerky, right?
yeah, venison style, man. It was that's how it was. But the next session, which kind of complemented the one we were just talking about, was with Sarah Saunders, and it was called "Don't Beat a Dead Raccoon." No, really, don't. And it was a good comparison there. She had this story and just all of these different excellent pieces. Like I'm trying to see how many clips I took from that one as well, because there was a lot of them. And let's see, some of the ones that was here is like, be the change, show our coworkers empathy, and start your shift with one deliberate thought. Today I'm going to, for one, how she put it, dare to be great. It was really bringing in, the ones that are new, that are coming in. And I think she used a kind of a quote from, I think it was Finding Nemo, maybe, because that's the one with the sharks, right? It's like fish are friends, not food, or something like that. But she used that with dispatch, because as we've people know, we eat our young. The trainers, some trainers, we eat our young, and she had said in there, our dispatchers are friends, not food. And I'm glad my microphone was on mute, because I literally laughed out loud, and I thought that's a good. You're right. Yeah, you're right. There are friends, not food. So, Karen, what did you think about this session?
Well, I had to laugh because this one brought me back to the days that I was in the comm center, and I would hear on the floor people, who drank all the water? Who left their food in the refrigerator? Such and such is going to go out and smoke again. How many times does that person have to pee? Literally, that's what she said, and I was cracking up. And I remember dealing with a lot of these personnel situations and really trying to get people to refocus on themselves and what they have control over, because we're always really good at pointing out everyone else's fault, but you got to look in the mirror and say, what did I do? So then I started singing in my own head, and I'm not singing it now, but man in the mirror, right? I'm going to make a change. Not singing.
Yes.
I'm going to make a change for once in my life. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. Like, we've got to start from ourselves and be willing to change our reaction, our response, our reply, and the way that we take things. We can't always point out what everybody else is doing. It's got to start right here.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Jameson?
So I had to drop in and out of that one because I had calls going on. But I can tell you the pieces I picked up on. I can remember being that person who complained about the one who smoked. You know, they get 17 smoke breaks a day, and I can't even go to lunch. What the heck's going on? and I wrote such a great paper to my boss about, here's how much it's costing us in man hours, and this is why it's not appropriate, and here's how it's unfair to me. And I submitted the paper into his door, and the next day I got it back in my box, and he had scribbled, "Don't bring this chicken shit to me ever again," because he was a smoker. And I was like, "Wow, that's there's a learning moment." So and so again, right? The only way we're going to change people is when they choose to.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right, just like Karen said, I had to make a moment where I was like, kill them with kindness, honesty, kill them with compassion, whatever I can do to try to make their life better, impact them better. So I've been on both sides of that coin.
What about you, Leah?
That session bring back memories for me when I first started dispatching. That culture where we eat our young, we eat the new people, we don't treat them well. And I remember saying to myself, if I ever get to become a trainer, I will never do that to someone, because they have to want to be here too. Not only do I want somebody working with me that wants to be here, but they need to want to be here too. And so that's what I kind of kept thinking of as she kept bringing up examples. And I'll never understand how that culture came into place, but it did. And hopefully it is changing. I know it is changing, but it will change even more over time.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. I like how she put out there, a lot of different tips. If they're coming in, late or, right before, why? Like, ask them,
Yes.
you don't have to be, you have to be a jerk about it or anything. Maybe they need help with something. Maybe there's an issue that's going on. Maybe they don't have, maybe they're having car issues or something, just all of these other things that you think, when you're hearing it, like, that seems so easy, but for whatever reason, it doesn't happen, right? Because we don't communicate. We don't communicate with each other. We're amazing.
Ricardo, we're not in the communications industry. Why would we communicate with one another?
Yeah, well,
It's easier to complain about it.
but it's just little things like that. If someone isn't picking up on an area, she made a suggestion. Take some time to take that new person out on a geo ride, and those are some of the things that we did as well. We would go and we would do these geo rides, and we learned a lot. One of the comments that was in there that I snipped out, it was someone had said, okay, so was in a meeting yesterday, and this was said: if you want to get there faster, you go alone. If you want to get further, go as a team. That was really good. That's why I wanted to make sure to get that out of there, because I thought, you know what, that is awesome. And there was different ways that she was talking about how to conquer gossip, and there was a quote in here that says, gossip dies when it hits a wise person's ears. And then another one on here, another tip here was really just a point. It says, when you are brave enough to challenge someone to put down that vicious raccoon, you challenge them to think about their need to gossip. So there was a lot of good pieces that were on here. There was also 7 ways to kill gossip. Ignore it, walk away, focus on solutions, not problems, be the example, and then encourage positive gossip. That one right there, the last one that she had said, instead of saying, did you hear about this, say, did you hear about so and so's save? And I was like, man, yeah, that's right on.
We have a team-wide Slack integration. And we have 2 Slack channels that get the majority of our traffic across our entire team at Rapid SOS, the entire company. And one is customer success stories, right? We see those on a daily basis. Just dropping another one in there. And the second one is random kudos.
Yep.
Thank you so much for helping out Karen on that call. It was a fantastic call. I really appreciate your depth. And to see that across 150 employees at a moment's notice, man, and to see people react to that, what an amazing culture, man. We've got to be able to bring that into the comm center and to public safety in general, right? Because we sometimes do stand alone, right? And so it's important for us to take care of our own. So it's just there are things that we could be doing today. If somebody just steps up and says, you know what, I'm going to be the change.
It's perfect. The last quote that I had taken from their for that session, and the person who said it, she has it on here, is unknown. She wasn't sure, but it says, treat employees like they make a difference, and they will.
Yes. Yes.
True story.
Yep, that was a really good one. Now, going into the wrap up of this After the Greatness recap, we got the last session here for the day, and this was with Joe McCarville. He's the owner of 91 Gold Line Training. Love that dude. That dude is just so awesome. The energy, the passion, just all of it. His session was We Are All 911, right? And Leah, I want to start with you. How was the session for you?
So I admittedly missed parts of this one because we had some issues in the comm center. But every time I came back in, he was cracking me up because he had great interaction throughout this whole session. But every time the chat would be going tick 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 tick, he's like, "All right, the answers are coming in, comments are coming in." I loved how interactive everybody was. And then if you aren't in green on this map, here, get involved, get recognized as a first responder. I love his passion towards making that happen. Mm-hmm. I did miss some of that one.
Yeah, it is always good to have him on. Jameson, what about you?
I was rather early. I had things going on. I missed most of it. I kept it up on my screen all day long, and I would drop in, listen to him for a minute, and I'd drop out. But the call to action probably is, like Leah said, it's so amazing because it's not just a one person calling it out or one association calling it out. It's we're in this together, and if we're going to be in this together, by golly, we got to stand together. We got to learn how to do that as one voice.
Right. Yeah. And his delivery on everything that he had put out there, he started out with a few incidents that they dealt with. And, one of the bigger things too, that he's talked about is just that derecho. That whole thing that happened. And I remember him sending me pictures about that, but then also about the teamwork and everything that went into it. Just everything that he says and the way he delivers it is just so awesome because he's able to bring up not only the incidents, but the similarities on what other people are dealing with in their own center. And how to improve on a lot of the ways that we work together. He's certified as well for the DISC program, and trying to get everyone to figure out how to work together and communicate. So there's so much that Joe does, and I just love it. But Karen, what about you?
Joe, I'm a fan. And thank you for the shout out to Rapid SOS. No, Joe is awesome. I appreciate his heart first and foremost. But the way that he presented his materials, and I was kind of catching a couple of things here and there, but had such an interesting flow, and he covered so many different topics in such a really unique and creative way, and everything flowed just really, really nicely. And I took a couple of notes from some of the unique little trainings he did, like the training with the paper and the numbers, and I really did not do well on that first time. So Joe, thank you for the instructions, because then I could actually see the numbers and follow the little bouncy ball. But the last thing that I took a note on, and I highlighted this, is a quote or a bullet point that he had in there in closing, and that's: the choices you make every day at work will make you, but how you respond to a crisis will reveal you. And I think that is such a powerful statement, that if we can just each remember that every single day, it really boils down to character.
Amazing. Yeah, he had a slide up that I did take a clip from really quick, and the top of it says 911, a great career in calling, and he said that some of them might seem like they're harsh, but there's some truths, and so I want to share that really quick. up here because there are some pieces. And actually, there we go. Now I could share it over here. And it's right here. So these were some of the points here. And some of these, hit hard, but also things that to really to strive for, like, reach far beyond your capabilities, use your strengths to lead you to new places, challenges, work hard. You are a first responder. People who achieve success love what they do, and they do it well. Understand what you can and cannot do. These are definitely some good points here, and I wanted to make sure to get a clip of this because this was a big part of what he was saying as he was winding down on the session.
Yeah, those are awesome.
So he did something at the end where that I wasn't sure where he was going with it at first. He had told me that he wanted me to wear my hat. And I said, my hat? And he goes, yeah. He goes, I want you to wear your hat, your I Am 911 hat. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I can go ahead and do that. And then he brought me on, and he just gave such a heartfelt shout out. And I just want to thank you, dude, for that. That was amazing. You got me in the feels, and you definitely had me shed some tears there. So thank you so much for that. What you don't know is that, or anybody, is my mom was in the audience. I didn't know, and she sent me a message afterwards, which was just really awesome. So she saw that shout out and the response from everyone, and just thank you all for the continued support, and to Joe for that. That was awesome. You didn't have to do that, but you did, and that's why you are as awesome as you are. Thank you so very much for that. And Mom, I love you. Thank you. So we are going into the wrap up here of after I almost said Dare of the Greatness. I can't even talk now. I've been up so many hours now. But then again, Karen, when you were on, it was what, 5 a.m? It was like 5.
It was 5:45.
So you've been up. Yeah, it's been for all of us. Thank you so very much to Rapid SOS for being a diamond sponsor of the conference, and for the both of you coming on and sharing all this good stuff that you have that's going on. CRG being on, and Geocom, those partnerships and everything. How can people find out more about Rapid SOS and what you all are doing?
I would make it super simple. Have any questions, any concerns, any complaints, any gripes? I don't think you do, but if you have some methods of improvement, just want to know, I don't have a clue what you're talking about, CSM@rapidsos.com. And our entire team will be right on that for you. And Ricardo, we do appreciate being here and supporting. I think this is a cult now. It's third time as a cult. Is that correct? Are we at that level now? I'm just want to make sure. I don't want to get on the watch list again. It's terrible. But we do appreciate being here with you, brother, and being able to support this amazing effort and all the work that you and your team have done. Can't say thank you enough.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
agree with that. It's just been amazing to watch and participate from the beginning, Ricardo, and to see everything that you have been able to do to bring this community together. There's no wonder why your mom is so proud of you. And I think that it's amazing to see her support for you. And as much as she attends all of these open mics and this. So I think that's amazing. And then I also just want to say thank you to everybody in your 911 centers, because you have put a lot of trust and faith in Rapid SOS to serve you. And we want to continue to serve you in what you do every day. So please reach out and let us know how we can continue to do that, how we can improve, what we can do for you.
Awesome. Thank you again for being here, and we will be back with the both of you here in just a moment. But Leah, this is
Great
day
day.
2. I know, it was the end of day 2, and we're going into day 3 tomorrow, the last day.
I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So all of you who are watching, make sure to join us. It'll be After the Greatness is going to be combined with open mic. So tomorrow, the both of us are going to be taking on open mic with not only the attendees of the conference, but the crew, everybody who shows up for open mic, and we're going to be sharing some funny ass stories. And we're also going to be doing several giveaways during that time as well, and sharing some bloopers that Leah has captured. So it is going to be a good time. That is going to be at the same place, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, but it's going to be at 9 p.m. Eastern time. So make sure to check us out for not only the last After the Greatness, but also Open Mic Live. Thank you, Leah, for everything. And this has been fun. And we will see you all tomorrow. Have a good night.